we ended the last video abruptly. We were fighting these dark imps. I don't remember if we were fighting them or not, but let's just run away just to be sure. And we were talking about how good the monk is. So I think it boils down to two things, him being so popular. So first of all, in the long run, he can do more damage against bosses than any other character. So that's good. I, on the other hand, let's use a purge. Would argue that, well, you can have a Viking in your party and simply have a sage or a wizard or a ranger cast buffs on that Viking, and you'll have a damage output that would be comparable. Okay, so here's Lich. Just let me finish my argument about the monk being not all that well. You know, the interesting thing is that he's kind of replaceable by both the wizard and the ranger. Both of them have the ability to cast the buff spells the monk uses, and both of them are capable fighters in most fights. Hold on, let me heal up first. So, fully stocked. Yeah. So, if you chose a range instead of a monk, well, you'd have the same spells, but you'd have better armor, and you would hit slightly less harder during normal fights. And, okay, during bosses, you won't get the massive amounts of output as the monk, but that's usually not that necessary. And the wizard, same thing actually. All those indirect spells he has them even more, and he has about the same armor as the monk and hits slightly less hard, but that can be compensated with the use of buffs, of course. So even though the monk definitely pulls his weight, I don't think he's that much better than the other classes. And I think the second reason why he's rather popular with folks is that he has that hybrid nature that most people kind of overlook. They think, okay, I need the heals, I need the tanks, and then they have this monk who's doing all this great indirect stuff, and that makes him feel really special in the party. And people get this feeling like, well, he's doing things that are out of my mind. And well, nothing wrong with that. That's the way he's made. Okay, so it's time to beat the Lich. I only have the cure ring so far as a special item, so we'll just attack the rogue. Nothing else to do. We'll get right to it. Now, choices. Do we build up offensively or offensively? I do have the shell spell, so that'll stop magic. I'll start with one shield and a shell. That should help tremendously. Okay, so Lich is actually not that hard. His stats are pretty good, but he's undead, so he's vulnerable to all kinds of stuff. I don't have anybody using a hammer in this party, but I do have fire spells, so we'll abuse that. He's still one of the first bosses in the game, so I didn't make him too hard. That's just Ice 1, but his spells get harder as the fight continues. Okay, one more temper, that should do it. He used to cast Blink, now he casts Shield 2. Which is a bit less interesting because I like the use of using Bind on him. But there's no blink spell anymore. I changed that to shield 2 in this version. Found that I never used the blink spell. So I thought, well, let me put in something that I would use. And I found the gap between shield 1 and shield 2 too large. I'm not sure if I actually like it because the gap was so big. That made the cleric rather special. Maybe I should reverse that. But I don't know what I'd otherwise use, because I do want a spell that would be cast in blink. Just you have to cast it about 4 times before you really start noticing the effect. That's just too much. I never found it worth the time. Oh, arrow is also good against undead. I haven't been paying attention to the monk's damage output. It's not that good, actually, is it? Oh, he cast shield, so yeah, maybe shield 2 is actually too strong. Though I don't want. Although I did beat the game with a melee only class recently. Didn't have any trouble with him. Maybe I should just put in Viz. Make the boss a little bit easier. Oh, he's dead anyway. So, no fret there. We have enough resources to go to Elfland, which we will do first. And get the last magic 4 spells. So discussing which class is best. All the classes I've heard one time or the other been called the best. Let me continue with the Sage. I find to be a bit underpowered. So that's more interesting, even though I will be discussing all the classes. You know, usually in a party, if you plan it smartly, you don't need access to all the spells, just the spells that your party still needs. I mean, you only have the choice of 3 per level. Sometimes you want combinations you can't otherwise have, like some healing and damage. So that's what I think the Sage is best at, making those combinations. But are they much better than simply having a range in your party? Or just having 2 classes that do that? I mean, Sage parties have been fine for me, but and I think he especially shines in parties full of otherwise not casters. Then he can fill in the best holes. In all fairness, the healing spell and the nuke spells I still believe to be the best spells in the game. I'm fine with that. They connect on an intuitive level, so people want them to be the best spells in the game because they just do what they're told. Watch out. Don't want to sell too much. Just making sure. Does everybody have their armor and their weapon? Yes. Plenty of gold. So as you know, the Sage, he already is awake. We're going to change this fellow's text to tell what the magic does here. Maybe this guy. Yeah, Mithril, whatever. I should change this. You don't get Mithril for quite a long while. I used to say in the original Final Fantasy, things made of Mithril were good, but you actually had Mithril items in the same town, so that made more sense. Okay, let me focus. Complete? Not complete? Complete. So it's all about the monk. Okay. Let's get the 2 indirect ones for you. Oh yeah, we have shield 2 now. Let's give that a ride. You have the life spell, which is much less good than the original Final Fantasy because, well, people don't die that often in this game. And the haste spell, which is awesome. Okay. I remember saying that the level 4 spells weren't that good, but they are good. Yeah, it used to be Blink instead of Shield 2. That made a difference. So haste was the star. Now we have 2 stars. I am concerned that Shield 2 might be a bit too good. Because Shield 2 is the kind of thing you cast multiple times, but life, not that often. Haste, not that often either. So casting Shield 2 doesn't come as much of a cost. The other one is Bio. Well, Bio's good though. Okay, so there's some competition. We're done with Elfland. Probably won't ever go back. We went to the inn, right? Oh, let's go all the way to the Crescent Town. Is that the name? Crescent Lake? Crescent Town? Or even more expensive magic will be waiting for us, but I don't think we can cast it. Can we cast level 6 magic? No, and it'll take at least 2 more levels, so it's a pipe dream for now. That's good, because I don't have the money anyway. Let's have some fun with Bio. Let me just cast Bio and then sit back. Oh, I did not expect that to be resisted. There's a pretty good chance of hitting. Still not dead. And meanwhile, the other bills have woken up. And they keep hitting us. Well, now they're only half-life. So about the difference between sleep and stun. Maybe might as well say this now. Stun on enemies lasts a bit longer. On average about 3 to 4 turns. So that's a very effective crowd control. Sleep, on the other hand, only keeps them busy for 1 turn. Keep that in mind when casting it. So it's not very effective crowd control. Later on you get the sleep ring. You can kind of stun lock your enemies. The fight will take longer because you're not doing anything else, but that works a bit. But yeah, sleep only keeps him busy for 1 turn. How are the weapons doing? I have steel, iron, steel. Well, the warlock doesn't need a better weapon. As for armor, I could get silver armor. Yeah. This will take a while before I need level 5 spells. This will take another 2 levels. I'm going to buy some silver armor. Because this team doesn't have strong healing. And besides, you get half back. You can sell it later on. So that cost me $7,500. I think it was worth it. Okay, we're almost leveled up. Before I go on, I'd like to do some grinding. Oh, forgot to get the canoe. What does he say now? Yeah, I changed this. He used to say, I was waiting for you or something, or I expected you to come. And that sounded a bit intrusive, so now he just wants to help you. And he tells you where to go. And he also tells you something about a stone in the desert, hoping to steer players away from the ice cave, because ice cave you cannot reach anymore. So let's abuse our lightning spells. Here we go. Quickly clean up this up. Running out of time, so next time we'll discuss another class, see how well I find them. Like I said, I think the Sage is easily replaceable, but he has his merits in certain parties to fill up certain spells that you don't have and would like to have. Yeah, he sucks at fighting, so keep that in mind. 5 more seconds. Can we beat them? Come on. Nope. Bolt 2 is just not strong.